And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our final best of 3 of the night of Masters Coliseum 7, the first round of the group stage here. And we have a TvT before us. Not any TvT, we have Clem versus Maru. A bit of a rematch. If you were here on the CranKy Ducklings last week, you would have seen us casting these two face-off in WTL, in World Team League, where Onside went up against Team Liquid, and Maru could not bring Clem down, but Ryung could. Again, Ryung coming in as the TvT sniper, Ryung coming in as a TvT specialist, has been knocking down Clem, but other Terrans have had a harder time. Maru had a harder time. So I'm excited to see them face off here. Again, when Maru faced off against Clem, it was a best of 2, not a best of 3, so ideally we get some more games here instead. We'll see. We'll see if this can go the distance. We'll see if we can get an ace match, because it's been nothing but 2 0s tonight. Nothing but 2 O's. Give us some more StarCraft. Give, Bobby, give. We'll see. I hope so, at least. I do hope that we can get the most we can out of these two players. Meanwhile, as we get ready for our final best of 3 here, this won't be our final broadcast of the night, because we are going to be back in a couple of hours, in 2 hours time. In 2 hours time, we're going to be back with the Christmas Cup. We did cast day 1 of the Christmas Cup last night. We casted the round of 64. Tonight is the round of 32. Round of 32 of the Christmas Cup, and here we go. We have our players getting ready. Clem is nowhere to be found, but we'll get him back. I promise we'll get him back. The videos are done. Give Gamba. Oh, true. I will get the Gamba going. If you are in the chat, place your bets here and now, because predictions are open. Get your Gamba going on how you think this series will unfold, on who you think will come out on top. Has Ryung been able to impart his wisdom upon Maru? Has Ryung shared his secret of clowning over Clem? Or does Maru have something else up his sleeve? We're here to find out. We are here to find out if Maru can fight back against Clem. Can he achieve what Ryung could, what Maru could not last week? We'll see. We will see, as Clem has been a dominant force in the scene in current times. I would say that Clem's weakest matchup is TvT. Over the course of the WTL playoffs, we saw that players like Bunny, players like Byun, the Terrans were really like the big threats for Clem. I would say, though, that Clem has the best TVP and TVZ in the world, 100%. He is the best when it comes to those matchups currently. When it comes to the TvT, this is where he does show a little bit of weakness. Fun fact, Serral is very similar. Serral is amazing as a player, but ZVZ seems to be like the matchup where he can slip up. Now, even when I say that like Serral ZVZ is his weakest matchup, or Clem's TvT is his weakest matchup, even in saying that, it's like, oh, they win 85 or 90% of the time instead of like all the time, you know? It's like they're still damn strong and still damn good, but like this is where they can end up faltering to other opponents. So we'll see. We'll see if Maru can make use of that. We'll see if Maru can fight back against the ESL Masters Winter Champion. Here we go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have, for Team Liquid, Clem. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent for Onside, Maru. Does Maru Churax all 3 games? I hope so. I do hope so. Here we go. As for now, big shout out to the sponsors as well. Shout out to Doyu, Honkai Star, Taido, Orderful, and Bill Bill. Big shout out to our lovely sponsors here for making this event possible, as we are easing ourselves into this TvT, and we are easing ourselves into our final best of 3 of Masters Coliseum tonight. Oh boy, we're still in the first round. Titans already colliding here. Going to be a double gas opener out of Maru, double gas opener out of Clem, so aggressive openers from both players. This will be leading into delayed expansions and into faster factories. It does make sense on the smaller map. We are loading into Golden Aura. I do apologize. I was talking a little bit about the players themselves, and I missed the map order. But Golden Aura is a very small map, has a shorter rush distance by ground. Aggression is favored on a map like this in certain respects. Like, once you get momentum going, you can snowball out of control. Your 3-base setup is very well fortified, though. You can set up on 3 bases relatively easily, but we'll see if we can get to 3 bases. We'll see how aggressive our players become. Already, again, double gas openers is going to be leading to faster factories. We shouldn't be going for 1 base all-ins. 1 base all-ins are possible, but like when I think of a 1 base all-in in TvT, I think of Gumiho, for example, right? I think of Gumiho, I think of Future, I think of Gumiho, like it's not really known for either of these players to commit and to go for a 1-1-1 off of 1 base. So here we go. We have our setup underway. Interesting, going for a reactor. Clem going to be going for a reactor instead, so going to be going for reactored Reapers into Hellion production. A little bit old school from Clem, a little bit more old school style. This should be leading into additional Reaper and Hellion production. We'll see if we go for an earlier add-on swap though. I'm curious. I'm very curious how Clem approaches this. Meanwhile, Maru is going to be going Reapers into Cyclones, no reactors from Maru. Going for his slightly faster CC on the low ground, as both players are, of course, going for their expansions. And there it is. So Clem is going for reactored Reapers into Hellions. This should be leading to 5 Reapers and 3 Hellions and going for like 1 big push. Meanwhile, Maru is going for a more modern style of earlier Cyclones. Now, Maru, he has a lot more flexibility with this opener and a lot more flexibility with these units. In saying that, if Clem can close the distance, if he can dive and get on top of the Cyclone and get a kill, like before things can really start, then he can snowball out of control and he can do a lot of economic damage. We'll see. As Clem is moving out, we see Maru taking a more defensive stance. He already has the first Cyclone. We have a second Cyclone on the way. Now, Clem didn't commit too hard. I believe he went up to 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions, not 3. Yeah, only 3 Reapers, not 5. So he did cut production a little bit earlier. The Reapers, they slip into the main base at the same time. Hellions towards that natural. And we are looking for economic damage. We're looking to pull Maru apart. And so far we get 2 SCVs. We get 2 worker kills in total. We get the Reaper as well. Good damage here from Clem. Ooh, 5 SCVs in total. 6. Now, the downside here, as Clem does get 6 workers, which is a good amount of damage, the downside is that Clem is going to be behind in Cyclone production. And that means that Maru is going to have a stronger army here in the early game. But he's still stuck at home. He still did sustain a lot of damage. And Clem is getting into reactored Cyclones to catch up. And he is not done with the aggression. Let's go. We prioritize the medevac. We're going for a medevac drop. Now again, Clem has to be careful because he is behind in Cyclone production. So he has to be very wary with how he does push out. But we'll see if he can pull something off. As Maru's working on his 5th and 6th Cyclone, Clem is working on his 3rd and 4th. They do just now pop out. Reaper is going to slip in. Clem does have a nice worker lead. Reaper does get confirmation of the production, sees the 1-1-1, sees the researching tech lab, and the reactor factory. So a good scout out of Maru, doesn't lose anything, but he is currently strictly behind in the economy. If there's no clash, if Maru doesn't make use of his Cyclone advantage, then Clem is just going to be able to be ahead here. And there we go. 3rd CC is on the way. Clem already has an economic lead. He's extending that economic lead with that faster 3rd. So far, things are looking up for Clem, as long as he doesn't take a bad fight. And here we go. He is pushing. 6 Cyclones in total. He will have the Sables soon available here for his Raven as well. Likewise, so will Maru. Whereas the Sable is still on the way. We do get on top of the Cyclones first. Maru losing 1 Cyclone already. But we're trading 2 for 1. A rough trade for Maru. But he still has an overwhelming amount. He still has the higher numbers. He still will force us back. Overall, a good trade from Clem. He just has to be careful not to overextend. He cannot take a head-to-head fight. Not yet. Not without reinforcements. So he does just race back home. Loads up those Cyclones. Now he has the defender's advantage. Now he has additional Cyclones on the way. And Clem can now take a fight. We're pushing in. We're the Disables. We're the Autotarts, and they do get thrown down. Yeah, big line of Autotarts. Maru, he's breaking through the defensive line. He breaks through every single Cyclone, and now he can push into the mineral line. Again, Maru, he had the Cyclone lead from the early game, and with that lead, he snowballs here into breaking the natural. Marine's going to be going down. Ooh, Raven as well. Big snipe there. Raven falls. The Cyclone barely survives. GG gets called. Maru snowballs out of control and takes game 1. GG, well played. Again, from the openers, Clem did take an economic lead, that is true. But as we pointed out, as we saw, Maru was strictly ahead in the army supply, and yeah, we could see that things very quickly snowballed in favor of Maru after the fight. Once Clem kind of triggered the first engagement, Maru, he wanted to fight. Like, he wanted to just send it, Papi. He collapsed on top of Clem, and Clem wasn't able to make use of his better economy. Again, Clem, he had the higher worker count, he had the faster third base, but maybe did poke the bear a little bit too much, and with that, things did swing in favor of Maru. And I'm hoping that we don't get a 2-0. We've had nothing but 2-0 so far. Give me an ace match. Give me an ace match, Papi. Can we fight back? Can we tie it up? Can we go to game 3? The pressure is on Clem. You can see Clem in the aftermath as well, just kind of smiling and shaking his head a little bit. It's like, again, he's like aware that, you know, maybe he did overextend there, and he did again, not necessarily like take advantage of his own advantages in that last game, or make use of his advantages in that last game. And I'm sure things will be calming down here in game 2. We spoke about Golden Ore, right? How the rush distance by ground on Golden Ore is quite short, which is why, like, when a fight goes your way, bam, you can just counterattack immediately. That is not necessarily the case on Hecate. Hecate is much more defendable. A lot of choke points, a lot of high ground, a lot of points of elevation with ramps. With that, it can be difficult to be really aggressive in the early game, depending on, like, your positioning and depending on the game state, to be fair. The rush distance by ground on Hecate is short, but it's deceiving just because of the defense advantage. So we'll see. We'll see what the openers lead into. Again, a lot of that game also did feel like it came down to the openers as well. So we'll see where our players take us. Just like that. Catching on the chat. So unfortunately, we didn't see Maru 2-racks all 3 games, but we could 2-racks on Hecate. That's not unheard of. That's that is on the table. That's something else to bear in mind. Maru is traditionally a very aggressive player, and if he gets momentum in a series, Maru is not afraid to proxy. Even if he's behind in a series, he's never afraid to proxy. He likes it. He likes it. Here we go. In the top right-hand corner, we have our French Terran player, our ESL Masters Winter Champion. It is Clem for Team Liquid. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Korean Terran, the Red Terran, Maru for Onside. Now we're getting into our next game. SCV Scout going to be moving out for Clem. My eyes are on that SCV. It is actually quite early, so very curious here. Clem, are we willing to go for a proxy? We do have our first racks back at home. We could go for a proxy second racks across the map. Ooh, and it looks like that's what we're going for. Okay. So this is a something that Clem does like to do. It is a 2-racks Reaper, yes, but it is not overly committed. Only 1 racks is proxied across the map, so it's very middle of the road. Obviously, you will have windows. There are going to be periods in time where Clem has the Reaper advantage, and he can use that to snowball out of control and to kill the Reapers of Maru and get economic damage done. But again, it's not as committed as a proxy 2-rack, so we can transition out of this into Factory, into Expansion, into CC. So we'll see what Clem can get done. Likewise, this is also designed to punish a more economic opener, but Maru is going for double gas. We have double gas openers from both players, which means Maru is going to be going for a faster Factory, which means faster Hellions, and there it is. Factory is on the way. He's going for a delayed command center, so he should be fine against this. He should be able to deal with this. We'll see if Clem can squeeze out some value here and even get some workers. Or even get some Reapers. Here we go. Reapers are on the way. We can see Maru, he's going to be scouting and checking his own natural. It is not uncommon to proxy racks in the natural of your opponent. Again, Maru practices a lot with Bjorn, and Bjorn, that's the kind of thing he does. So Maru just making sure. We'll CC on the low ground, but it may be delayed here, as Maru does spot the Reaper, but Clem shoots first. Clem shoots first, and Maru, losing this Reaper would be huge. It looks like he will. The Reaper will go down. Big pick off. And just like that, Maru, he is behind in the army. He will not take control of his natural base. He has to pull back. So a big pick off there by Clem. Maru, he has to wait for that cyclone. He has to pull the boys. Yeah, boys are being pulled. SCVs are getting picked off. One worker does go down. And this is a big delay on the command center. Now have a third Reaper out. Now with the arrival of this cyclone, Maru is going to be able to fight this back. But this was quite a bit of damage already. Cyclone does get a good lock on, but it looks like the cyclone is going to go down. Good pick off there by Clem. Both his two of his Reapers are very low though, and Clem, he overstays his welcome. Does bleed out another Reaper, trading 1 for 1. Now, Clem did make an extra Reaper though, but we have another Cyclone on the way. So Maru, he regains control of his natural base, and bearing in mind, even though the natural was delayed for Maru, it's still faster than Clem's. Like, Maru still has the better economy than Clem. Cyclone comes out, and this was a bit of an overextension from Clem. Yeah, you can see him shake his head on cams. Did throw away another Reaper. So it wasn't a bad start from Clem, but he was hoping for more. Again, you can see he's trying to delay that CC even longer, but he won't be able to. Another Reaper goes down. And Maru, he gets his base up and running. Clem still has his own orbital in production. So Maru, he's got the economic lead. A slight economic lead. Ooh, and we are looking to go for a big counterattack. Maru going for the drop across the map. Likewise, Clem is getting ready for his own Cyclone drop. Oh, and he will not come across the medevac. He's in position, but not quite where he needs to be. I should say he's being active on the map, but he doesn't come across the medevac. Here we go. We're going for the drop into the main base. I believe we should be getting a couple of Cyclones out of the factories in a couple of seconds, just in time. Oh, as I say that, they take a lot of hits. Good juggling so far from both players. Boys are being pulled. SCVs go down. This is what Maru was hoping for. He gets 2 worker kills. So Maru, he extends his worker lead. At the same time, Clem going for a counterattack. Going for the mineral line. Maru, he does lose 1 SCV. But he gets a better lock on. He takes down the Cyclones, and across the map he evacuates his own. Oh, a big loss for Clem, losing 2 Cyclones. Ay, ay, ay. So Maru, he kills more workers, and he almost resets the Cyclone count as well. Yeah, Maru going for the 3rd CC. So is Clem. Clem has a slightly faster 3rd, which he needs. Like, Clem, he needs to come back here in this game. In some way, he needs to come back. A faster 3rd is a way to do so. He would also like to go for drop play, but the problem is that because Clem just lost 2 Cyclones, he doesn't really have much of a presence anymore. He can't really harass. If he does, his opponent has the army advantage, and if Clem loses any more, he will trigger a counterattack. So Clem's in a really awkward position right now. Slight advantages for Maru. And he's pushing out. He is moving out. He has 2 Ravens. He has the Sable, I believe, ready for this. But auto turrets can be more impactful. Yeah, Maru, he's pushing with everything. So Maru, he is ahead in Cyclone production. So he's going to have a larger army. He will have the auto turrets as well. We'll see if Clem can hold. He does barely come out with another Raven. Goes for the scan. Maru's pushing in. Good concave. A solid concave here from Clem, and it has to be respected. Maru, he's going to be committing. Oh, auto turrets get shut down though, and yeah, Maru, he cannot fight this. Not anymore. He bled out 2 Ravens. Big pickoffs. And this is what Clem needed. Clem needed a fight to go his way. He picks off Raven. Picks off a Cyclone. Clem takes a better fight, and now Maru has to back off. So Clem, he has survived the early game, and now it's going to be about expanding. It's going to be about, can Clem get his 3rd base up and running? He's moving out with a drop. He's hoping to catch Maru out of position. To have a double Cyclone drop going into the main. Maru going to be responding, going to be reacting. He's going to lose a couple of SCVs. 1, 2, 3 SCVs go down. 4 workers in total. Good pickoffs here from Clem. Again, this is what he needed, and now Clem, he does take a worker lead. He's moving out with the rest of his army, pushing towards the natural base. Can Maru keep up with the multi-pronged aggression of Clem? Here we go. Is Maru paying attention? That's the question. He doesn't have the concave that Clem had. He's got his army in position. The Cyclone bleeds out here. They're premature. Maru panicking here. The auto touch was premature. They do run out, and Clem, he's breaking through, and it looks like this may just be too much. Voids are being pulled. Maru does not have enough. 10 workers go down. We have a Cyclone drop into the main base. Again, you could see that one fight went Clem's way earlier, and suddenly with the Cyclone advantage, he's able to trade better here. And sure, Maru, he's holding. Maru's surviving, but he's got 39 SCVs to the 65 of Clem. Now suddenly everything swings in favor of the blue Terran, and Maru, the pressure is on. Oof, losing so many SCVs. You can see there in the units lost that the army trades were pretty comparable, but Maru lost 19 workers. So he's far behind in the economy. Again, he just was not ready for the push at the natural, woefully underprepared for it. And things are looking dire for Maru. He is moving out, doesn't have a lot of energy left over. Like, he's got 3 Ravens, but he's got like 1 auto turret, I think. Tanks are in position. We're transitioning out of Cyclones into tank production. Both players are. Again, Maru needs to make some magic happen here. Maru, he is slightly ahead in army supply. Ooh, but he takes a tank shot to the face. Ooh, loses the Cyclone. Again, Maru, he can't bleed units out like this. He's going to rotate around. It's going to be the first to siege, just barely. Being disabled here on one of those tanks, but a counter disable as well from Clem. He's holding onto this position. We get another disable, but 1 second too late. The tank went down. And we're going for the dive, but a big anti-armor missile. The first tank does run out of that disable. Maru going for a doom drop. Again, he needs to break through. He does bypass the main army, but he gets caught by the depot. There's potential in the drop, but does get caught out. Clem going for his own doom drop across the map. Scans, spots the army, he's in position. Vikings as well. Yeah, Maru, he's being shut down at every turn. And does Maru have enough to defend back at home? Clem has momentum. Oh, the drop gets missed. Maru tries to respond. He tried to respond with his own drop, but the tank is going to go down. Big pick up by Clem. He gets a second tank as well. He takes control of the main base. And Clem is snowballing out of control with this. He's going to shut down the final tank. GG gets called, and Clem fights back. We have an ace match. Whew, let's go. GG, well played. Just like the previous game, the game kind of was settled when it came to the Cyclone fights. Just like game number 1, where Maru was able to counterattack after he took a good fight with his Cyclones and was able to break the natural base of Clem. Likewise, when Maru took a rough engagement across the map when he lost his Raven and his Cyclone, that triggered a counterattack from Clem, and Clem was able to break through with the Cyclones, was able to kill 19 SCVs. That was crazy how many workers he killed just because Maru didn't have enough to defend, just because he wasn't ready for the counterattack. And the Cyclones did win Clem that game. From that moment, the pressure was on Maru, and Maru just wasn't able to recover from there. Was not able to recover. Good movement out of Clem. We're going to the ace match. We're going all the way to game 3. It all ends on Solaris. Here we go. It all does end on Solaris. The Cyclone changed Devolved TvT into Devolved? Evolved. Wow, what do you mean? Yeah, the new Cyclone has impacted TvT the most. 100%. 100% it has impacted it the most. And here we go in the bottom left-hand corner. We have our French Terran player for Team Liquid, Clem. And in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Korean Terran player for Onside, Maru. But yeah, TvT is very much so heavily reliant on Cyclones in the early to mid game. Very much so. And what's the best way to put it? It's a delicate dance. The problem is that Cyclones can snowball very quickly. Like, if you lose 1 or 2 Cyclones, things can very quickly swing out of control in your favor or in your opponent's favor. So It's very unforgiving. That's maybe the best way to put it. Is the Cyclone TvT is very unforgiving here. It's a little bit similar to Phoenix versus Phoenix in PvP, where if you lose 1 or 2 Phoenixes early on, like, you're just behind. you're just behind, and it's just so difficult to recover in Phoenix versus Phoenix PvP. Kind of similar here in Cyclone versus Cyclone in the early game, where things can very quickly snowball in your favor. So it's very tense. Very tense. Here we go. We have Maru going in for the SCV Scout. Does confirm the double gas. Oh, Maru going for a very different opener. Okay. My apologies, I didn't notice. Maru's going for a Rax Expand. A single gas opener out of our Red Terran player here. So, economic opener out of Maru. We have Clem, once again, like he has every single game so far, going for a double gas. Faster factory, which means Clem is going to be the aggressor. It means Maru is going to be the defender. We'll see if Maru can get away with this more economic opener. We'll see if he can survive the aggression of Clem. The Cyclones of Clem. Can he do it? Ooh, so far, we do shoot first, and Clem, he bleeds out his first Reaper. Not a good start for Clem, especially considering it was a double gas opener. Again, this means that Clem, he wants to be assertive. He wants to be in the face of Maru with his first Cyclone. But now he's going to have that much less support. So a big win here for Maru. A big moment in the early game. So Clem is going to have a bit of a harder time getting this Cyclone across the map. A little bit harder, but not impossible. Still, of course, we'll have the Cyclone lead. Ooh, actually, yeah. As first Cyclone, second Cyclone's on the way. Maru opening up Reaper Hellion instead. We'll have a force here back at home to defend. But again, Maru will be behind in the overall Cyclone production. That's going to be the advantage that Clem has. Maru has the better economy. Clem will have the scarier army. There we go. Medevac is on the way. Clem, as he has been doing most games here, going for a Cyclone drop across the map. He's going to be looking for economic damage. So even though Maru has the faster expansion, has the better economy, he may be losing a lot of SCVs. It's going to be on Clem to kill some of these workers. And he's been quite successful so far in this series. Here we go. Reaper is moving out. Stepping into the main base does confirm the army, does confirm the production. Here we go. Cyclone drop is moving out across the map. Maru needs to make sure he's in position. We have a bunker on the low ground. We have one Cyclone in the main, one Viking. The Viking is going to be a big factor here to zone away the drop. And Clem, he's boosting, going straight for the main base. Maru going down to the low ground, by the way. Now is not the time to rotate as his main base is that much more exposed. And we're going straight for the mineral line. Straight for the SCVs. Boys are being pulled, and barely one worker is saved. Army is rotating over. Big lock on Viking. Does sort this away. And no one loses anything. Maru does lose mining time, but overall, a good reaction out of Maru, was able to pull back in time, and he does defend. Meanwhile, Clem isn't done. He's still looking for pickoffs. Still looking for workers if at all possible. It was a clean defense out of Maru so far. Ooh, and Clem, Clem does have map control, taking a CC on location. Bold move, but it can work. Meanwhile, Maru, he's already got his own third CC almost done. I just realized how there's a reason why he went for a Hellion first, not a Cyclone. Very greedy out of Maru. Going for a Rax Expand, and his third CC is done. It's already done at this point. We go for the scan. I believe the scan doesn't see the third CC of Clem, unfortunately, so Maru doesn't have all the information he needs. Yeah, he was looking for the CC in the main. Production on the way. But because the production was just now starting, Maru, he can piece together that money was spent on a third base instead. So he should be aware. Should be aware that the third is on the way. Did invest into a Banshee here for Clem. Maru behind this, fortifying himself. Oh, yeah, it looks like a bit of a misread out of Maru. Because he didn't see the third base, he may be thinking that it's a more committed attack. I mean, these two bunkers are going to come into play, though. That's a lot of Cyclones. A lot of Cyclones from Clem. Can Clem push in? Drop is going to be swatted away. Clem going to be fortifying himself, consolidating his forces. Third base has been swatted. Maru is aware. Gets one SCV. You can see Clem still sharking around. There we go. He comes in with those two Banshees. Comes in for the backstab. Gets 6 worker kills. And just like that, Clem does take a worker lead. Very nice pickoff, actually. Now, Maru can still mule harder, and he can soon take his third, but Clem's is on location. He's mining from it already. Maru, he has to break out. Still just building up his forces, building up his bio army. Clem is getting out of Cyclones into bio tank. So is Maru. Now, Maru will have faster upgrades. He's about to finish up with 1-1. 1-1 just now started for Clem. It's going to be a big moment for him. Banshees, they do dip in between the bases. Oh, they denied the turret! Oh, 1 second too late, just as Maru was moving out. 2 SCVs go down. Clem extending his economic lead. Cyclones have been revealed. Maru doesn't want to waste his stim. He's waiting for the moment. Leading out some Marines. Banshees, they dip into the main base as well. Yeah, they're going to get a couple of SCVs. They try to. Not quite able to, though. Here's we go. Maru is pushing. Now, again, Maru, he's hitting a very strong 1-1 timing. So, Maru's got 1-1. Clem has 0-0. Maru has stim, soon to be combat shields. But the question becomes, how many tanks? How many tanks does Clem have in position? That's what I want to know. There we go. We have 2 tanks, 3 tanks. Getting in position at the third base and the natural. Can Maru break through? He's hoping to. Big anti-armor missile. He's going for the dive. Disables 1 tank, disables the 2nd tank, and every tank is disabled. And Maru, he can break this army. Again, big anti-armor missile, and Maru is snowballing out of control, shuts down every single Marine. And 2 of those tanks. There's 2 tanks on the high ground, but Maru, he takes control of the third base. A big fight in favor of Maru. That's going to be a kill as well. A kill on the third. Maru still has his own, soon to be up and running, and we drop into the main base. Oh, is Maru overextending, though? He has to back off. Does have to retreat. Reinforcements being caught out by the Banshees. Good pickoffs by Clem. But Maru, the tank's in the position. He scans, he shuts down the Banshees. They get caught out, and Maru, he's pushing towards the production. Okay, he's going to be rotating around. He still has his Banshees, sorry, his Ravens alive. They still have disables. Oh, he's looking for them. He's looking for those disables. He's looking for another dive. Tanks are within range. Big shots going off. Clem bleeding out a lot. You can see him shaking his head there on cams or pulling back. Clem going for a jump into the main. Oh, sorry, Maru going for a jump into the main. Clem does respond. Does pull back. And Clem out of position, going for his own drop across the map instead, but this drop is late. He wants to try to get maybe a surround here on the tanks. Yeah, he's going for it. He's going across the map. He is committed. I wonder, has Maru realized that there is that much less to defend here for Clem? Like a bare bones army here. It's Clem going for his drop across the map. We have some reinforcements to defend. Voids are being pulled. A lot of workers going to be going down. Big disables. The boys. SCV's going down for both players. And it looks like Maru, he should barely have enough to hold. Yeah, he will clean this up. He defends back at home, only loses 8, or only loses 18, which is a lot. But GG gets called. Maru has too much, dealt too much damage, and Maru will take the series 2-1, shutting down Clem. GG. GG, well played. Whew. Again, Maru just being so greedy in this game. Remember, he went for a Rax expand into a very fast third base as well. And with that greed, with that economy, he built up towards a big 1-1 timing. Remember, with that move out, Maru, he had 1-1, he had Sim, he had combat shields, and he had plenty of Ravens with energy as well with that move out. What did his opponent have? Cyclones. But in the early game, Clem wasn't able to make use of those Cyclones. He invested into, I want to say 8? He had like 8 Cyclones, and they couldn't push in. Like, Maru was being very defensive in that early game, was able to make sure that those Cyclones didn't gain any value. And that meant that because we invested so much into the Cyclones, again, we invested less into Ravens, less into our own upgrades. It did allow for Maru to hit a very strong timing, and in the end, those Cyclones from Clem weren't really worth their while. They weren't able to really gain any value there for him. GG. The Banshees were good. The Banshees, remember, they killed 6 workers, and they were able to catch reinforcements, but again, because Clem invested into Banshees, that meant that he didn't invest into Ravens. Like, that's what his starports were doing. Banshees instead of Ravens, and again, that led into the eventual fight that Maru took very heavily in his favor. GG. GG, well played. With that, we have concluded round 1, and let's have a look here, bam, at the Swish stage. Now, the Swish format is a little bit complicated, but basically, winners will be facing winners, losers will be facing losers. Coming up next year, we have a lot of matches ahead of us. Oh my god. A lot of matches coming up ahead of us on the 15th of January, which is tomorrow. We have Classic versus Hero, Cure versus Dark, Maru versus Serral, and Max Pax versus Shin. Again, winners face off against winners, losers will be facing off against losers, so it's going to be Oliveira versus Clem in another TvT, Bjorn versus Raynor, Bunny versus Firefly, and Trigger versus Solar. Here we go. So again, the winners of round 1 will be facing off against each other. The losers will be facing off against each other as well tomorrow. As I mentioned before, this is going to be 2 weeks of Masters Coliseum. 2 weeks straight of Masters Coliseum action. And that is tomorrow's matches. Again, some mirror matchups there. Classic versus Hero, Cure versus Dark, Oliveira versus Clem, and Bjorn versus Raynor. Look forward to it. Look forward for tomorrow's matches. And again, here on this channel, we're going to be live tomorrow, day after tomorrow, day after that, non-stop Master Coliseum for 2 weeks. Let's go. Let us go. Plenty of StarCraft ahead of us, plenty of StarCraft to come. If you can't wait for tomorrow's Master Coliseum broadcast, if you want some more StarCraft action, we got you covered. In 1 hour and 20 minutes, we're going to be live once again with our next broadcast. Here we go, hold on. Shout out to Honkai Star. There we go. So, if you want some more StarCraft action, in 1 hour and 20 minutes, we're going to be live here on this channel again with our second broadcast of the day. Again, we do typically cast multiple times a day. We're going to be casting the Christmas Cup. Christmas Cup Day 2. If you were here yesterday, also after Master Coliseum, we casted Day 1 of the Christmas Cup. If you're curious, what the hell is a Christmas Cup? It is a pretty big event, actually. There's, what, 2.5k, there's a 2.5k prize pool, USD, by the way. 2.6k, actually, prize pool USD for a big event. The Christmas Cup open to mainly all the players, but mainly Europeans are getting involved. It is at a European-friendly time slot. And yesterday, we casted the round of 32. Sorry, we casted the round of 64 yesterday, and today we cast the round of 32. Round of 32 will be today. Next week will be the round of 16, the round of 8, followed by the playoff bracket as well. So a big event. A lot of matches will be played, a lot of matches will be casted, and wish me luck, because I'm going to be diving into it in an hour and a half. Players are going to be featured like Wayne, Skillus, Night Phoenix, Mindo VK, Exo Striker, Ashbringer, Shameless, Nikic, to name a few. So again, if you're familiar with those players, then you have an idea of the caliber of players that are going to be facing off tonight in just over an hour. So yeah, there we go. Bobby, no, get to sleep. You're crazy. Always StarCraft, Bobby. Always StarCraft. Let's go. All right, sorry, I have to pay out the predictions. Magic predictions only 7%. For Maru, oh my god, you're animals. No faith. No faith, Bobby, no faith. 85, sorry, I said 7%. 15%, there we go, in favor of Maru. So congratulations for those of you that did place your bets on Maru for that last series. But again, we're going to be going on a short break. I'm going to quickly make some noodles. I'm going to make some ramen, going to get some food. inside me. And yeah, we'll be back in an hour and 20 minutes with some more StarCraft action. So take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for dropping by. We do appreciate it. And we'll see you guys either in an hour or tomorrow for the next broadcast of Master Coliseum. Also, my apologies. Tomorrow is more intense. Tomorrow is the next day of Master Coliseum, but tomorrow is also ESL Open Cup Asia. So we're going to be casting ESL Asia into Masters Coliseum, into ESL Open Cup Americas and Master Coliseum, and then the Club NV Ducklings Showdown as well on Tuesday. That's a there's a lot of back to back. There's a lot of broadcasts over the next couple of days. So yeah, plenty of StarCraft here on the channel. If you can't watch live, if you want to watch the VODs, YouTube is the place to be. We are co-streaming on YouTube, so the VODs are also available there if you are interested. VODs are also available there. Thank you, George. Thank you, George Fletcher. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy the commentary. And again, we'll be back in an hour, and we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, sorry, we'll see you guys for our next broadcast. Until then, hasta luego. Bye. Hasta luego, papi. Hasta luego.